Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Her Journey to Self Podcast. My name is Tamara and I am your host. I hope you all are doing well today. It has been really gloomy the past few days, and that's all right. It's that time of year, and spring and fall are actually my favorite times of year. I really enjoy the fall time because it just feels like warmth. And what I mean by that is it really just feels like a time to nurture yourself. It feels like a time of reflection. The year is winding down and you really start to focus on yourself. At least I do. This is also the time of year where I get really excited about the holidays. And yes, I am that person who starts watching Christmas movies like right now. Like, give me all the Hallmark movies. I'm already thinking about what our family photos are going to look like. And I'm extra excited because, as you know, I'm a first time mom. And 2020 took so much for me this year being a new mom. We are doing family photos. I am adamant about that. Christmas, Kwanzaa, maybe even New Year's, matching outfits and all, okay? And I think it's really important to cultivate joy, especially during this year. The consequences of this year have really affected me, specifically the past few weeks. I've just been sad on top of really navigating life under these new and unexpected circumstances. It's been hard. I've had a few breakdowns already. So just doing things that truly make me happy is imperative. So try not to let this year defeat you. I'm trying to not let it defeat me. We're still here. We are still here. So let's jump into today's episode. Today we are talking about fear. And unfortunately, I have a really long history with fear. I feel like I have been living in a state of perpetual fear for some time now. And I don't really even know when it started. I definitely believe that life experiences and rejection planted the seed. And in many ways, I have felt crippled by it. And it is not a good feeling, and it comes at any stage. Even with this podcast, I think I mentioned in the first episode that Her Journey to Self was my blog that I started back in 2018, and I eventually stepped away from it. And a few months ago, I really started to brainstorm on what I wanted to do with it. And I have been wanting to start a podcast for a few years now. Actually, I initially wanted to do a show with my husband, and we even recorded an episode last year when I was, I think, 34 weeks pregnant. But then one of the files got corrupted, and we kept having editing issues. And he's more of a behind the scenes type of guy anyway. That's literally his career. And he didn't really want to do it anyway. So I eventually just gave up on him. And then I decided I would turn Her Journey to Self into a podcast. And I don't remember what I was watching or what I was listening to one day, but whatever it was, it lit a fire in me. And I started that day. I had remembered hearing about the Anchor app. So I went, created a profile, recorded the trailer, and put it out. And then the fear set in. There was the fear of what if? What if it's not successful? What if no one listens? There was also the fear of showing up. Once I put the trailer out there, I had friends contacting me saying that they were so excited and asking me when is the first episode coming out. So I was like, oh crap. There was this fear of not being able to deliver or living up to people's expectations. And I know that all of these fears are fears that we put on ourselves. Even when people do have certain expectations of you, that's not my problem. I need to focus on what I'm called to do and not what other people think I should be doing. Now, that's a word in and of itself. But the biggest fear for me is the fear of failure. Like I said, I have a long history with fear. It seems like, and I'm fully aware that this could just be my perception, but it seems like I always have to fight tooth and nail for anything that I pursue. And we all know the saying, nothing worth having comes easy. But sometimes I wish that something was simple. And a lot of the time, it's the small things that add up and makes it really annoying. Like editing, for example. I swear, there is literally always a problem. One day, the internet doesn't want to work, or the software doesn't want to work. A file mysteriously gets deleted. Like, literally, there's always something. Last week, my child was completely off her schedule, which threw off my schedule. I'm telling you, there is like always something. And I feel like this in all areas of my life. So it's stressful. And like I said before, perseverance is my word. So I always get it done or I find another way. But there's a lot of stress in the meantime. And I was speaking to my friend about this. And she told me that if this is something that's always showing up for me, then maybe I haven't learned the lesson. So I'm just like, God, what is the lesson? Because I'm struggling. I've been struggling. And, the lesson may be that I'm giving too much attention to fear. Mm. What is my response? What is my reaction to those things? That could be the lesson, speak those things that are not as though they were. I need to trust what God says about me and not what my negative thoughts say. There's a quote from Soledad O'Brien that I love that says, I've learned that fear limits you and your vision. It serves as blinders to what may be just a few steps down the road for you. The journey is valuable, but believing in your talent, your abilities, and your self worth can empower you to walk down an even brighter path, transforming fear into freedom. How great is that? There is freedom when we can let go of fear. If we are looking through the lens of fear, we probably aren't seeing clearly. It's just like someone who wears glasses and you might not even have a strong prescription, but there are things you are missing or things that you can't make out just right when you don't have your glasses on. The same goes with fear. And have you noticed that you just breathe easier when you're confident in something or even when you're confident in yourself? Man, that's the freedom. Even if you're nervous about the outcome, you still move differently. Those invisible chains aren't there. That invisible weight isn't there. You can move freely. You can think freely. Have you ever worked out with a weighted vest on or with ankle weights? It makes the workout 10 times harder because there is resistance. Resistance. Fear is resistance. It can cause you to resist success. And I know that 2020 has specifically pushed people to finally start the things. What better time? I know finances has definitely been a huge motivating factor. People have been starting businesses and side hustles out of need, but also out of desire and passion and having the time. So, one of the good things that this year has given to us is clarity. We have gotten clear about where our faith lies or where it should lie. And we have also gotten clear on our purpose. So, the question now is, what are we serving? Are we serving joy or are we serving pain? Are we serving growth or are we serving regret? Are we serving social media or are we serving our purpose? And I actually found a blog post that I made in 2018 that speaks exactly to this. I wrote, in no way am I saying that it is wrong to experience negative thoughts or emotions. No. Feel it, process it, and work toward moving on from it. Your purpose is in front of you, not behind you. If you are waking up every morning and intentionally, the key word is intentionally, if you are intentionally thinking about the deep sadness you felt last night, or the mistake you made 2 months ago, or the rude comment that someone left on your page, then you are serving negativity instead of the positivity that will propel you toward your purpose. You know, I love to use the word propel. Stop letting fear, stop letting your past, stop letting people cause you to remain stagnant. Your haters are not your motivators. And I remember so vividly writing this because I hate that saying. Oh, I hate hearing it. It even became a popular message in church. And I get it. It's catchy and it gets people fired up, I guess. But why are we allowing people who have no business controlling our navigation system dictate which route we take in our lives? Eventually, your target is going to start to move. Your purpose is your target. But with each pointless, non serving comment or criticism, your target starts to move. You will look up one day and your purpose will no longer be in sight because you are serving people. And today I would actually add circumstances and emotions who aren't even in the direction of where God has called you to be. Man, take inventory of what you are serving in your life. Fear is a powerful force. Even when it doesn't completely stop us in our tracks, it influences how we move. Are we giving it our all? Are we holding back? Are we staying in our comfort zone because that feels safe for us? Are we unpacking where the fear is coming from? What is the root? How did we get to this place? How can we overcome it? Those are all the questions that we should be asking ourselves. Continue to dig and dig and dig. We need to become history buffs of ourselves. We should know ourselves so well that we can write a thesis paper, okay? Because if we're not careful, fear can take control of our lives. Ugh, think about all of the missed opportunities or all of the projects that you didn't start or didn't finish. Was it because of fear? Like I mentioned in the post, our direction starts to change depending on where our focus is. Is fear our navigation system? We keep our eyes on the road while we're driving for a reason. We don't want to end up in a ditch somewhere. And there is this idea of having healthy fear that alerts us when there is a real danger or something may be wrong, but there is a fine line. I was terrified to start this podcast, and I'm still nervous about the success of it, but I'm doing it. And when just one person tells me that the show has impacted them in such a meaningful way, that is proof. That is proof that it is all worth it. My friend was telling me that sometimes we don't even know how our work is impacting other people. And that is so true. We may never know how many lives we are changing by just being obedient to our calling. But best believe lives are changing. Life is not perfect. Humans are definitely not perfect. There will be disappointments. We will make mistakes, but it shouldn't paralyze us. Don't let fear win. Don't let it win. I hope that this has encouraged you to take inventory of how fear impacts your own life. So head on over to HerJourney2Self on Instagram so we can chat about it. Also, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts so I know how you're enjoying the show. You can also leave a voice review on the Anchor app. Don't forget to join the YouTube family over at Tamara J. Morris as well. So thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Remember, your testimony is not for yourself, it's for the world. Until next time, peace, love, and light.